You could say the sounds of silence. Even in the province, the sound of silence always includes the cock-a-doodle-doo. You know, we live in an age with technology. We live in an age where many of us can't do without our phone, and none more poignant are Filipinos. They're considered to be almost the leaders of selfies and the sending of text messages. You imagine if you could see them going through the air, we would hardly see a view ahead of us with all the invisible connections that are buzzing around our heads as we walk about the Philippines. Have you also noticed that maybe how your wife, your girlfriend, is constantly on the phone, constantly sending messages, chatting to their friends, as if every moment of the day must be filled with knowledge and understanding of those around them. Gone are the days where we used to have a phone message pad next to the phone, and so had messaged us or called us. Some of us even had answering machines. You see them in the movies, but I don't think they apply anymore. But it tells you one thing. Have you noticed how, when you send a message, how long it often takes for them to reply? It's almost like, oh, it's him. I'll answer him when I'm ready. That can be very frustrating if you want an answer straight away. You might be at the shop and say, shall I pick up some extra this or that? And you can wait 20 minutes, even an hour, even by the time you get home. They still haven't replied. And when you ask them why they didn't reply, of course it'll be, oh, I didn't see. Really? I'm sure when they notice their friend Filipina or Filipino messaging them, they can't wait to type the next reply. And one wonders whether it's the fact that they're becoming or have become indoctrinated by the idea that phones are only for Filipina messaging. They don't really need to spend too much time replying to us. After all, we're only foreigners. A source of delight when we go shopping, no doubt. When there is a bill to be paid, when they need to feel comforted by the fact that their man will pay the bills. And this is the problem that we have. Many of us, some of you say, oh, my wife does all of that. She always makes sure the bills are paid, and this is done and that is done, and oh, she never asks for any money. Oh yes, so how does she do it? But with your money. And do you know how much change she gets from all of that, or are you not bothered? But some of us, we aren't bothered about the few pesos here and there that come around all the time when you dish out the money and they spend it and they give you back the change, or maybe they keep it, or often they have a little piggy bank where they put it all in. Now, of course, some of them will buy you maybe a new pair of shorts or a fancy pair of undies. and say they just bought that for you, and you sit there and wonder, what did they buy it with? And you'll find out later they used all that little extra money that they've been accumulating over the years, which is great. It shows enterprise, effort. But for some, whatever you give them, it's never enough. It's one of those things where it really makes no difference. After all, you're now a peso tree. And you know what a peso tree is? Yes, it's a foreigner's bank account. One of those things where there's a constant flow of pesos. And that's what life's all about here. The flow of money. It's a cash society. Everything is paid for by paying cash. There's a slow change in the sense that for some businesses will now take GCash and some of the other cards, but also it will also take debit cards. So that makes life just that little bit more easy for them. So peaceful around here. Hello. Kids just doing what kids want to do early in the morning here in the province. I think it's because the schools are out today, and as a result there's lots of things that the kids get up to, just like we used to when we were young. Just playing, throwing stones, whacking things with sticks. The good life. The darling buds of May, as we say. Always something to keep them busy as they run away and play in the field. It's always a great delight going for an early morning wander around the neighbourhood here, or anywhere where we're staying. It's a way of getting away from the rat race, the pressures of whatever, to just reconnect with things around us, to relax, just to spend time thinking, planning, maybe nothing specific, but just enjoying what we see around us. In a city, of course, you can do it in a certain way, but it's much noisier for people to try and find that silent place, or as silent as it will always be here. But nevertheless, early morning walks are good for your soul, good for your mind, and also a source of energy. You know, there are so many issues that will come up within families, extended family, and we can't be expected to understand all of it. The intricacies and the reasons for why they are the way they are, simply because we just will never really understand the psyche of a Filipino. or a Filipino come to that. You know, you can explain the most simple things to them, and they have a different slant, something that we would never even think about, but they think of it, and they make it their guiding light that makes them think. The idea that our logic works here in the Philippines, it doesn't. You know, they're a strange little mob. They really are. And the reality is that we only scratch on the surface. For many of us, we might have an older wife or somebody closer to one's own age. But that doesn't guarantee that there's a smooth transition from maybe the fast-moving younger ones out there, the ones that are always active. I mean, living before in the Gillian, I've spent 10 years there, and I've seen how young women become, or young girls become young women. And I'm always amazed at how they acquire their way of thinking, even with a foreigner in their midst. You would think that our thoughts would rub off on them, but they just never seem to do that. They have their own way of putting together ideas and living out. And even if we explain to them that somebody's straightening out a piece of iron by the sound of things, they have their own way of putting together their thoughts, which naturally we all have. But you just wonder why he has to bang at this particular moment. But of course he doesn't know I'm sitting over here on the edge of a concrete channel around the area. But we're always going to be challenged. It is a challenge to live here for sure. And being able to get our head around what's going on, we have to be very, very patient. We have to be able to take the time to try and understand what they're thinking. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And we'll catch you later. Bye now.